just responding to messages. So a couple of things. Your assignments. So there were a handful of you that did not turn it in last week. It was due on Friday. I have not even looked at the mini projects yet. I will get to those later in the week. But your homework assignment, so a couple of things, and some of you turned it in and then I sent it back to you. So if I sent it back to you, it needs to be corrected. I'm giving you a chance to correct it and still get full credit. But it needs to be one file. So you should not turn in pictures. You should not turn in two separate files. Even if you made a copy of the worksheet, you should copy and paste that into your original Google Doc. And then it should all be in order. 1-1 notes, 1-1 questions. Under that is 1-2 notes, then 1-2 questions. Anytime you handwrite it, it still goes in there, but as a picture in that same spot. So if you're not sure, a lot of you I gave feedback to already on there. Quite a few of you I sent it back to. I am giving you today to fix it if you need to fix something. But if you want full credit, you do need to go back and fix that. And if you're not done with it, it is all due on, so it was already due, but we're taking our chapter 1 test on Friday. And so that's your last day to turn in any late work for the chapter. The day of the test is the last day of the late work for that chapter. I will give you more instructions later in the week on your test. We will pretty much be reviewing most of this week, I think. So chapter 1, we're going a little bit slower because some people were still getting their schedule changes and stuff. But in the future, I don't think we'll quite be this spread out. So moving on, let me.
Before we move on, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So I handwritten everything, the questions and the notes.
Huh?
So basically, I handwritten everything like in a notebook.
Yep.
So I just got to make a file and put it in order, right? And just add it to the assignment.
Yeah, so you just, well, yes and no. You take pictures of each of them and then insert those pictures in order in a Google Doc.
Oh, okay, nice.
Don't turn in the pictures on Google Classroom. You just turn in a Google Doc that has the pictures in it already.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. And it looks like there's 8 of you already on here. This was shared around lunchtime on Google Classroom. So you do not need to, what we're going to do, we're going to try it. We're going to go into breakout rooms. In your breakout room, you can have one person doing the typing for your group. And then kind of like how last 2 weeks when we did the breakout rooms last time, I think it was the first week of school, you kind of had one person that shared. So every single person in your group should have watched one of these 2 videos. And so you should put in here, there should essentially, since there's about 25 of you in here, there should be about 25 or more bullet points because I said share 1 to 2 things. So everyone in here should be sharing 1 to 2 things there. And then with your group, you're going to move on to these discussion questions. And it says you can skip around and might not get to all of them. So some of these might interest you more than others, or you might have more to say. If you're having a good discussion, so we're only going to be in these breakout rooms, I think like 12 to 15 minutes. So if you're having a good discussion, you might not get through all of these. If you only get through 3 or 4 of them and everyone's having input and you're having dialogue and going back and forth and you're kind of taking notes, that's fine. I would rather conversation be more in depth and something comes out of it than just hurrying up to put something down for each of these. That's not our goal right now. If we were in class, we would do a lot more of these kind of sharing on a daily basis, and I might try to incorporate that. We'll see how it's going to go. When you're in your breakout rooms, the expectation is that you are talking. So your mic, you should not be muted unless there's a lot of background noise, and then you turn it on when it's your turn to talk. I'm fine with that. But if I go into a breakout room, I shouldn't be sitting there for 30 seconds and not hear anyone talking. So just figure out how you want to go about it. Like I said, I'm not too picky. Everyone, and it's not just kind of rushing to type in here. Figure out who's going to type really quickly. And if you guys all want to type your own things, I don't really care. I think it's easier if you only have one person typing at a time. Some of you, your internet might be slower, so it might be hard to go back and forth. If you are typing your own things, please also make sure you are verbally communicating them rather than just typing them in here. So like I said, we'll be in these rooms about 12 to 15 minutes. Then we will come back and kind of discuss as a whole class. Do we have any questions before I split you into rooms? Like I said, I'll be popping in just to, I might participate in the conversation. I might ask you a question. I might just be there to listen to make sure you guys are engaged. But I will get to all the rooms, hopefully 2 or 3 times, depending on how long I'm in each one. All right. If you do need to ask a question, you can come, and I'm not in there, you can come back, leave your room, have one person leave their room and come to the main room and type it in the chat as well.
I still have 2%, so I'll wait till it does.
Okay. All right, so it looks like most people are back now. Okay, so apparently this first part wasn't clear because there should be about 20 plus bullet points, one from each of you. Hopefully you all watch those. We are using somewhat of the honor system, meaning when I ask you to do something, I didn't want to make a separate assignment and make every person answer individual questions. Remember, especially if I give you class time to do it, we ended class early that day. But yes, private, so FAFSA has 6 basic parts. The federal deadline is June 10th, but every state is different and different colleges as well. Private schools aren't covered. Another important thing, basically almost all of your financial aid at public schools is going to be through FAFSA. So if you watch Financial Aid 101, it did talk about FAFSA. It says there are more than one type of grant. Gift aid, scholarships, and grants are the most common. If you withdraw, you have to pay your grants back. All of that is true, but the only way to get grants in these scholarships through FAFSA. There are private scholarships that you can go to their own websites, yes, but some scholarships will come through FAFSA. So all grant money that comes from FAFSA and is based on need. Also, it'll determine your eligibility for student loans. And based on how much they say you need, that's the amount you can get subsidized versus unsubsidized, which remember, subsidized, you don't pay interest on at the beginning. So I read through some of these while you guys were typing as I bounced back and forth. I do want to say thank you. Most of the rooms I went in had good discussions going on. And there is a lot on here, so I do really appreciate that. And if I'm not going to read all of these, these are topics similar to what will be on your test. All of this kind of comes from chapter 1. This prediction is not necessarily something that's on your test. It's just I was kind of thinking in the realm of where we were headed. But the job market is different from the past. Inflation is different. Money has changed. We need more of some jobs. With technology, new jobs are being created. Safety has become a bigger issue at a lot of places as well. So why is education important to the lifelong earning potential of any worker? So we talked about this in our slideshow. The more education, typically, and again, it's not always, but you typically get a higher paying job. There are plenty of people with not as much education that might just do the trade school that do still have high paying jobs. That is not saying they are not available, but just on the nationwide average. So yes, you can accomplish anything with barely any education, but if you're looking at trends, it is less likely to happen. But a lot of it also has to do with your ambition and what you want out of your life. Kind of goes along this one. If education is an investment, how will it pay off in the future? If you invest in more time in your education, you can give yourself more happiness and jobs that you can make more money potentially. This goes along, again, this is my personal opinion, that I think if you want to go to college and know what you want to do and it needs a degree, then I don't think you should let the student loans stop you, because you're making an investment in yourself. Saying you believe in yourself, you know you will be successful, you will be able to pay these loans off, and you're going to do what you need to do to go down the path you want to go down. So our economy right now, so we are in a recession. Many people are out of work and can't make money. A lot of smaller businesses are struggling. Even some chain places, like some restaurants that don't have the means to have everybody outside, well-known places can be struggling too. Some products are more valuable and last longer, so they're worth the investment. Very true. If the quality is better, people are willing to pay a higher price. Supply and demand. If there's a high amount of product but not enough people are buying it, they're going to sell it for less. So if there's a lot of it out there and it's just kind of sitting on the shelf, and it might not be an actual shelf, but that's when the price will drop. And then if the demand is high, they can limit their stock of what they supply, and the price is obviously going to be higher. So paying for college, there's financial aid, student loans, scholarships, grants. Again, most of that comes through FAFSA. Good and bad. So again, not everyone has had job application experience. But yes, typically you do have to wait to hear the position. You might not get hired, especially right now with being in our recession and kind of with COVID and everything going on, it's probably a lot harder. This is a big one though. Employees do care about, or employers care about what's on their employees' social media pages. So if you're not going to censor your social media page, you definitely want to make sure it's private. And you still want to be careful with private, because someone you may know somebody else, and they may kind of show them things on there. They want their employees to look professional. You are representing them. And they don't want like a negative outlook for their company. And then, so good impressions at a job interview. Eye contact is great, showing up early. You can have a cover letter. What I was saying before, a lot of entry-level positions, they might not make you have a resume or a cover letter. You do want to dress nice. You don't want to go in jeans or shorts or tank tops. Have confidence in your voice. Yes, you want to be nice. Ask questions. You're very much interviewing the company as much as they are interviewing you. And yes, it's important to come alone. You don't want a friend to show up with you to a job interview. So definitely some good things in there. I do appreciate you guys sharing. Like I said, read through the rest of those. I just kind of wanted to go over some of the bigger ones. Where we're at right now, we don't have any homework tonight, but quite a few of you need to go back and fix last week's homework that was due on Friday. And some of you still hadn't turned in your mini projects. Remember, they lose 10% every day that they're late. Also, you have your test on Friday. We are reviewing throughout the week. If you looked at the assignments, I know a couple people already asked me questions about them. We're doing like a vocab worksheet and a review or pre-test. Those are going to be similar to questions you'll see on your test. So we do have review built in to kind of get you ready for your test on Friday. That's all I have for you guys. If you have other questions, stick around. Otherwise, I will see you